Blue Lock chapter 339 spoilers are here, and it is insane because we finally came to know that who is subbed out and who is subbed in. Chigiri, Nico, and Bachira are subbed out, and Baro, Shido, and Kunigami is subbed in. And the formation is also changed. Rin is at the top, Baro and Shido are on the wing, and Shido wears number 99 jersey. The formation is 4-2-1-3. Rest, I will keep the secret, so let's get into it. The chapter begins with the text saying U20 World Cup Match 3 Japan vs France. First half is over. Japan has felt the true strength of the U20 World Cup title favorites. To determine their tactics for the second half, they exchange options. And then we see Aiku, Bachira and Rio. Aiku says, man, they are tough. France, ranked 1 in the world. Hugo is insane. And Bachira says, but it's still only a 1 point difference, right? If we make the adjustments in the second half, we can still do this. And Rio says, no, if we stay like this, we are just gonna get crushed and it'll be over. And Karasu says, calm down, you lot. Just like Yuri's goal, we can still invent a new pattern. I'll take over this team as the second best in Isagi's place. Let's go for that in the second half. But Bachira says, but we built this team centered around Isagi, didn't we? And Rio says, and I'm telling you that the strategy has already fallen apart. And Bachira says, no way, it can still work. Then we see Ego entering the room and says, watch your mouth, Karasu. And Karasu is just silent. And Ego then continues the conversation and says, France is a country that has established an environment for accepting various ethnicities and cultures. The diverse range of talent born from that creates a wealth of options in their football, making it easy for specialized talent to emerge for every single position. Hugo then says to Caruso that I'll give you credit for your quick-witted change in play, but the problem is your mentality. From the middle of the first half, your plays looked as if you'd given up on your own goal. Ego asks, what exactly do you think you're doing? Caruso replies, because I thought it would be better for the team. And Hugo says, I'm pretty sure I taught you that anyone who fights for the team is absolute trash. Ego says, in the first place, if every footballer fulfilled their aptitude in the right position for the right job, ultimately it would result in nothing more than contest of physical ability tactic. The country of France has an environment well equipped to accept diverse ethnicities and cultures. The vast diversity of talent born these creates endless options in their football, making it easy for the right kind of talent to emerge in any given position. Ego says a superior team by strictly selecting talent based on aptitude. Is there any chance for Japan to win by doing the same exact thing? The answer is no. Things like according to your aptitude or be happy with your means. Everyone can be happy if they live according to their aptitudes. It is simply a theory used by the strong to paralyze the thinking of weak and control their potential. We are the weak. Ego says that is precisely why I say everyone must be a striker. This philosophy that completely ignores attitude. This is the heart of Blue Lock. Imagine if you had 100 lives to live, how many times out of the 100 do you think you would become the world's number one striker? Even if I were to estimate it optimistically as possible and as miraculously high as possible. One time, something that never would have happened if you were living with your means, aptitude. Living for the sake of that one single chance, that's what it means to be an egoist, doesn't it? Karasu says, but it's a fact that the way we are right now, isn't working or effective, right? Ego says, yeah, if you are seeking something new, first you must throw away something old. In the next page, ego says, I am discarding the tactics centered around Isagi Yoichi. I will now announce the second half formation for our counterattack. Now, in the next page, we see the coach of the France team. Name is Rodin, and Rodin says, "You all are the strongest generation, chosen by God, that only appears once every 100 years." U20 France national team coach Rodin. Rodin says, not just the history of France, but also changing the history of football itself. Exceptional talents are gathered here. Now, the last blaze of a new era. Let's create history. Every day is like, whoa, yell, hell yeah, and the clap. In the next page, we see a conversation between Loki and Charles. Loki says, hey Charles, please stop playing around and stay in your designated warm up spot. Charles says, yeah. Loki says, when we are done with the warm up, the earth will be grieving, right? Charles says, oh, you're so greedy, Loki chan. I'll save something really nasty for you. And then we see Hugo, and he says, it's okay, Loki. This match probably isn't going to end less like this anyway. It's going to get wild. Blue Lock seems to have chosen that kind of fate. We see a double spread page of Baro and Shido, and the text says U20 Japan member change Shido, Baro, Kuniuni. It's Kunigami. With Baro and Shido says, let's go. Every cell in my body is buzzing. And Baro says, it's hunting time. And Kunigami is also there, and he says, you drooling beasts are about to be tamed. We see Bachira, Chigiri and Nico at the bench, and Bachira says, I am exhausted, and Chigiri says, leaving the rest to you, Kunigami. And Nico says, I am at my limit. And there is Isagi at the play, and Isagi says, a formation fully committed to destructive power. This system centered around me has been dismantled. That's what they were aiming for. And then Isagi meets Hugo, and Isagi says, right there stands a human whose talent, dreams, and perspective are clearly on a whole different scale than mine. The situation is pure, desperate adversity. So why is my excitement accelerating? It's telling me to surpass that guy, Hugo. And in the final page, we see Isagi saying, my ego is calling out. And the text says, second half, kick off. The more he's backed into a corner, the more Isagi Yoichi's egoist blood boils. His glittering fighting spirit clashes with destiny. So that's the chapter. And there is no break next week. And the next chapter name is Now God. If you like these Blue Lock contents, subscribe my channel and follow for more contents. I also make contents about Jujutsu Kaisen, and I also started this anime manga Blue Lock. So thank you for watching.